Hello everybody and welcome back to RainBro Crafts. My name is Colton and today I will be making for you the first soap in our March collection titled 50 Shades of Green. This soap we have named Shades of Jade because of the end result, the colors that we used. This soap is a unique one in that we are using a natural colorant, and by natural I mean from a plant, and that plant would be spinach. So I am actually going to be making 3 slabs of soap at the very same time with varying degrees of spinach powder in them. So this one, first batch that I'm making here, has the most spinach powder in it. I think I did like 2 or 3 tablespoons. I should have written it down, but I did not. So we'll blitz that up along with our colloidal oatmeal and our lye water until it comes to a very light trace, and then I'm going to be adding our Avocado Blossom Fragrance Oil. This fragrance oil is from our local supplier that we love, Shay and Company. It has notes of dew, there's some citrus, there's some avocado, some clove bud, so not like clove like the spice, it's a little bit different, some moss, there's some earthy musk, and there's some woodsiness. And I really liked working with this fragrance. It did have a lighter use percentage than what we normally do for soap. So if you do utilize it, just be careful of that. You don't want to use too much. The kind of thing that I think of when I see a fragrance oil that has a lower use percentage is that it might cause the soap to accelerate. So I did plan accordingly with this fragrance and with this design. So, and I'm going to actually utilize that perceived acceleration to my advantage. We'll blitz this up, and it really isn't speeding up too much, so that is good. But sometimes it'll just go from liquid to solid really quickly, and that's never a fun surprise. You can see it's a pretty good consistency right now as I'm pouring it into the slab. And I feel like my lighting is a little off here. It is more green looking in person, at least in this stage of the soaping process. Now, having used spinach powder in the past, I do know that spinach powder, the green, does fade, and that's just because it is a plant-based colorant, and it's not super color fast. I did have a teeny tiny bit of green mica in each of the layers, just to give it a little extra pop. Not a lot, like a 1/4 teaspoon, 1/8 of a teaspoon, and like a 1/16 of a teaspoon for the whole entire batch that I'm making here. So you'll see what I mean by accelerating. It's pretty thick right now, which I'm going to use to my advantage. I really wanted some fun, bold, textural differences between the 3 layers that I'm going to end up doing. So I'm just going crazy with my bar spoon there and just pushing the soap batter every which way. I want it to look pretty randomized. I don't want it to be like a spoon swoop all in one direction. So I'm really trying to like swizzle the bar spoon with my fingertips and go diagonal, front to back, all sorts of ways. I want it to look pretty chaotic, because when you cut the soap, that's just going to make it a much more like visually interesting look. You can see here by that 3rd slab there, even compared to that first slab on the left side of the screen, the definition in the spoon swoops is vastly different. So while I wouldn't say this is a poor behaving fragrance oil by any stretch of the imagination, because I have used those before, if you do use this, just be prepared to move with a little bit of haste. I think you probably could have added the fragrance oil a little bit later, after color and all of that stuff, to give yourself a little extra wiggle room, but I had anticipated this, so I wasn't too worried. Next up, we'll blitz up that 2nd layer of soap, and this is going to be same fragrance, same colorant, same everything. It's just going to be a little less of that colorant. I wanted it to look like a gradient of a darker green, a lighter green, and like almost a white, like super pale green on the very top layer here. So again, this is just that Avocado Blossom fragrance oil from Shay and Company. The thing I love about the definition for the Avocado Blossom fragrance oil from them is that they have some like little notes in the scent descriptor, and it says, here's what I've learned since creating this fragrance. Avocado blossoms are really cool looking plants that smell nothing like the fragrance, and that the fragrance oil smells really good. And I would 100% agree that the fragrance oil does smell really, really tasty. It's nice and fresh and crisp. It's a little sweet, but not too sweet. It's the perfect kind of like botanical scent. And when we were designing our March 50 Shades of Green collection, we were trying to go for scents that were green, not in the sense of like eco-friendly necessarily, but like that were reminiscent of the color green. So this soap, an avocado, you think of as green, so that's why we picked it. We didn't necessarily want to use the same scent name for the soap bar, so that's why we called it Shades of Jade, because I was thinking of a jade plant, which is also like a nice, beautiful green color. And I also kind of thought that the spinach colorant did turn like a little bit of like a jade stone color in the end. Some of the other scents that we are doing this month are Trailhead, which is the next video that will be coming out. And that one I've made in the past, and when I was picking out the scents, I was thinking of like a Pacific Northwest trail, so very lush and green with ferns and evergreen trees and all of that kind of stuff. We also have our Fresh Aloe and White Lily, which is going to be one that we have for the whole quarter, so for the next couple of months. But it is classically a green bar that we've used. I have one that is a cilantro soap that smells like cilantro, like eerily like the actual herb cilantro, but really good. And cilantro's green. So we had a really fun time picking different scents that kind of embodied green, either the name or the scent or things like that. All right, so I have blitzed up my second batch of soap, and I am doing my spoon swoops again. Same technique, super crazy. The only thing that I'm paying attention to here that I didn't have to worry about in the first one is I don't want to go so deep that I actually cut into the bottom layer of soap, because I did want to keep the colors separated. So I had the darker green in the bottom, the lighter green in the middle, and the lightest green on the top. I didn't want to have like drop swirls or anything like that. So I was just keeping that in mind. You can see that it's still a really beautiful working texture, even if it is a little thick. So this would be a great fragrance to do some really cool like swoopy designs. You probably could get some really good like hanger swirls too, because it did stay pretty workable for pretty long, but it did get a little hot, which was the other thing I was a little worried about. It didn't cause any sort of soap volcanoes, unfortunately, because I do want to see that. But also fortunately, because I wouldn't want to clean that up or waste 3 slabs of soap, because that would have been lame. All right, one thing that I didn't mention that I just remembered as I was doing the voiceover is between batches, I actually had turned my slabs to the other direction. So the front was in the back and the back was in the front, so that my randomized design was even a little more random than what it would have been, because even if you're trying to be super random, sometimes you get into a pattern. So you'll be doing the same spoon swoops or things like that, and I didn't want that to happen. So at least with twisting it, 180 degrees, it did build in some inherent randomness. All right, we are on the last slab here, or last batch of soap, and I am going to blitz up the same fragrances oils, everything like that, just with a little less of that spinach powder. And by now my oils are a little colder because this is 3 batches of soap long, which a batch of soap normally takes me like 10 to 15-ish total minutes of working time, and that's being kind of slow. So things just cool down. Also, I'm filming this in the winter time. I actually think when I was doing this, it was probably on a Saturday. Zach was at the farmer's market, and it was one of our colder days here in Washington, in Vancouver, Washington, which hasn't been terribly cold this winter time, but we did have a couple days where it was like 30-ish degrees, so the soap studio is a little chilly. All right, we'll strain in that last bit of fragrance oil and blitz this up. And we'll give this a pour. I'm not even worrying about going into the middle layer of soap there because it's set up so much. The one thing that I am needing to keep in mind is I want these slabs to all be about the same size. So I could have weighed each one, which would take a long time, and I didn't really want to do that. Or I could just pour it over and eyeball it, which is what I did here. I think for this batch, I did do a pretty good job of keeping them level between the 3 slabs, but on the Trailhead soap, the video that's going to be coming up next, I did have to scoop a little bit out and kind of redistribute the batter between the molds. And then I'll just level them all out to make sure that they are as even as possible. There's not any low or high spots. You can see that usually the left, like my right corner, but the left corner on the screen always has a little bit of a dip, and I think that's just how I pour the batter into the slabs there. And then the last step I'm going to do is I am going to break out my bar spoon and do some more swizzles. Again, you just saw this before, so I won't speak too much on that. I do have some kind of bad news, and that is that we had some technical difficulties, and the unmolding and slicing of this soap is missing. Can't find it. Can't find it on any of the memory cards. I've tried every trick that I could think of. I've looked everywhere and I cannot find it for the life of me. So I am going to put a picture up on the screen here now so you can see what it looks like. And sorry if you hear some snorting, that is Felix. He wants to be included on the voiceover. Felix is our Chihuahua, and I'll put a picture of him up on the screen too while I'm at it. But you can see that it's a very like subtle gradient between the dark green and then it kind of just looks like light green for the top. So if I did remake this soap, I would definitely do more green in each of the layers, and I probably would do a blend of some more mica to spinach powder to just have a little bit more of a contrast. It's a really pretty soap bar, and I love the texture, especially the top swoopy texture. It's very like, I don't know, it just feels nice in the hand, kind of like a river stone or something like that, which I'm obsessed with. My question for you all is, do you like avocados? Do you like them in guacamole, on a sandwich, just on their own, on some avocado toast? I love them. Zach's kind of on the fence about them. My dad hates them. So let me know in the comment section down below, do you love avocados or not? Thank you for watching. If you do want to get soaps, candles, or bath bombs each and every month from us, check out our website, rainbrocrafts.com, to become a subscriber. We have our lovely list of subscribers on the screen here. They make this channel possible, and we really, truly appreciate each and every one of them. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, comment down below if you love avocados or not. Also, subscribe to the channel and ring that bell icon so you get notified when we release new videos. Thanks. Bye.